back to another episode of Love's House. Relocating my battery to the back. Gonna be taking that guy right there, put it in the back of the car, somewhat in the area on the driver's side in the back. I eventually want to move it to the passenger side, right behind the seat. I'll probably end up making a bracket or getting one of those battery buckets for it, but at the moment I'm just knocking it out so I'll have a lot more space when I take that one out. Just making it easy now. Yep. So I'm cleaning up my workspace, cleaning up all this, so I have more room to work with. Some of these I had to widen the hole; it didn't fit around this, but now it does. I just drilled it. I just drilled it, knocked it out so that it would. Oh, there we go. Look at that focus. So one of the things you're really going to need when relocating the battery is this 0 gauge wire. That big boy stuff. But for this, like I said, I'm going to be using these to go on it. So I have to modify by cutting some of the sheathing off and putting this over the exposed copper. Now, for anything else, you already know. Should make the whole process go a little bit faster. Alright, so first we need to open the sheath. If you have a razor blade, that's pretty much the best thing to use. So we're going to be using, where's our big boy? This is the big one. This is pretty much the easiest one to get on. Perfect fit. So basically, here's where it's going to go in, but you want to go a little more so you can get the solder all the way in the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. Now that we got the rubber piece off, the next thing to do is to get our nice terminal piece here around. Now, this can be difficult depending on what kind of wire you get. Luckily, I've got, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 7 strands by like 1,000. So you want to get every single one inside. Just like that. Oh, we're missing one. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Easy peasy. Now I know this looks like a lot, but luckily I've got my shrink wrap. So this will cover all of that, all the excess, so that we won't get any water in there. It's just added protection. The solder alone is enough to keep it from rusting and degrading over time. Sweet, now that we got the terminal on, next step, get this in there. I'm gonna get the solder. This next step, so many different ways you can do it. Where did I put it? Here we go. From what I've seen online and what I've done myself, using a heat gun. Using a heat gun is probably the easiest way to do this. So don't have anything flammable around, obviously. So this, I'm gonna have to set this up, but basically what you're gonna do is heat this up, the copper part, till it heats up everything, and you start tapping the solder right here, and it'll just fall right in. So pretty much I got it set up. Maybe not the best, but it'll work. So like I was saying, we're gonna heat the terminal up to a point to where it's hot enough so when you touch the solder to the exposed copper, it'll melt and seal it. One thing I didn't do is crimp it, which that's what you're gonna wanna do. So I'm gonna do that real quick and then set it back up. Now, when you crimp, you can use a hammer or pretty much anything that'll smush it together. But what I do Take my vice grip right around here, right there, and then you just give it a good squeeze right there. That already isn't going to go anywhere. And then get our rig set up here. Handy dandy hammer system set up, majig thing, majig. See, can't get that to stand up again. Sweet, that'll work. All right, now that we get it crimped, got it all set up, we're gonna turn it on, let it heat up, and then start melting it in there. So it's hard to see and it's hard to hear me, but this is pretty much how it's gonna look when you're doing it. Take your solder. You're gonna have it like this, a long piece. I'm just gonna set it at where the exposed wire is, and it's just gonna fill it up from the inside. You're gonna wanna wear gloves. More than likely you're going to want eye protection too, and it's just going to fill it up. Pretty steady pace. Let it do all the work. Now that it's cooled down, I'm going to go ahead and take my heat wrap. This was $5.95 at JK Electronics out here in SoCal. It's 2-to-1, so basically for the diameter of the whole tube, it's going to shrink half that when you put it on. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this to length, put it around, heat it up, and be done with it. Alright, got to cut the length. It's kind of expensive for shrink wrap, to be honest, but it's got the glue on the inside, so when it heats up, it'll adhere and just add to the waterproofing of it, which is pretty dope. There we go. Got it all covered. Makes it look so much better. Take our heat gun. Warm up. Take that off. You can do it with a lighter, but it works so much better with a heat gun. Heats it a little more evenly. I'll let it sit in one spot, it'll melt. Also, don't cover the hole. Yep, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get everything else set up, but I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Get this cleaned up. Thank you for coming by. Feel free to stop by anytime. Peace.